Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Thou my mother, thou my father, thou art my friend, thou art my companion. Thou my wealth, thou my everything, thou art my all in all, O Lord of Lords. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. So we are again back to our reading of Narada's way of divine love. And we were reading the verse we'll start reading today, verse number 56. What we read in the last time is that this bhakti, what is being described, it is, you said that it cannot be described. It is like, what is that? It is like a dumb person trying to express some joyful thing he experienced. So it is only experience, but that cannot be expressed in any language. And also it has been mentioned on verse number 54 that it is guna rahit, it is beyond the gunas, the qualities. It is beyond it is not like other material object which we expect, desire. It is not like that, anything which we can desire and we can get it. That means all the material object, we desire, we get it, and still hankering remains. But it is not like that. It is beyond kamana, nirbhashana. It should be beyond vasana, kamana. And once one gets it, it is contrary to worldly experiences that every joy in material plane, one day you get it, you receive the same thing second day, you may be happy, but not up to the extent. It reduces and becomes ultimately, every day you are giving a sumptuous meal, then that meal has no value. It becomes monotonous. That's why so many varieties of food is being prepared. But not here. Suppose in this life of devotion, if one gets that, it increases. Today you get joy, tomorrow you get greater joy in meditation. Tomorrow you will pray to God and your love grows more and more. It is unending because God is unending. Love is unending. So that was the idea, pratikshana vardhamanam. And everything there is a separation. We get it now, and another object comes, disturbs my joy, disturbs my peace. But it is avichinna, uninterrupted, and it is of the finer nature, and it can be of the nature of experience only. So we read that. And also we read that what happens after this type of bhakti, attaining bhakti, what happens? It happens that they become like, if they experience this devotion, then what happens? Tad ev tat prapyo, attaining that, verse number 55, tadeva avalokayati. He will see everywhere the same divine. What a thing. You love Krishna or Ramakrishna, you see Ramakrishna everywhere. You love Christ, you see Christ everywhere. Tadeva srinoti. Anyone saying anything, you will hear as if it's a call from your beloved. All the letters, 51 letters, 50 letters, no? All are his words. Ramakrishna said, Holy words are not only words, but those which is not so decent, those words also, mother. There is nothing but mother. So, everywhere they see, behold, they see the divine everywhere. He listens, the voice of the Lord in every sound. Om, they can hear. Any noise, even in that, Swami Shantananda Maharaj used to listen. People are talking this, that, but he is hearing the Om, uninterrupted sound continuously going on. That's why it's called Anahata Dhvani. Baje tatha anahata dhvani tabo bani. Swami Vivekananda talked about Ramakrishna. He said that Baje tatha, there is ringing all the time. Tabo bani, your voice. Anahata, unbroken. That means continuous, that sound. So that is the tad avalokayati, tadeva srinoti, he listening, and tadeva bhasayati. They talk about God. They don't relish talking about any other thing but God and God alone. So, and tadeva chintayati, even if they are silent, they think of one thing. What a beautiful state of a devotee who can see God in every situation, in every thing he sees or she sees. Every sound is he hears or she hears, and every word he speaks, even every thought he thinks. That means in his life it is saturated. It is like the example that there is a disease which is called jaundice. Jaundice is a disease, then you see everywhere yellow. Everywhere you see yellow only. It is not yellow, but your eyes are showing you yellow because of the disease. So it is God-intoxicated disease. It's not a bad disease, but it is the right disease. But if anyone gets that God-intoxicated disease, or it's called the infection, and that infection will let him or her transform totally. He will see all the time. In sayane, sapane, jagarane, in the waking state, in sleep state, in dream state, they are only in that one, only on God. And then hearing everything, every voice, every sound, every noise, it is God's voice. Om. Every thought he thinks is God. Every word he speaks about God. So this is a glaring example before us in Gospel of Ramakrishna. When we read Gospel, we find that how it impacts. Now today, he is talking about this bhakti, or it can be divided into three categories according to its quality and according to its urges. So what it says, Gauni Tridha Guna Bhedat Artadi Bhedat Va. What does it mean? Gauni Bhakti. This is the supreme bhakti which we heard about. But we cannot jump in one stroke to go there. We are in ordinary level. So what we have to do? Here Narada is coming down to our level and guiding us and telling that when you start with the Gauni, Gauni means secondary. That is the primary goal. Goal is Para Bhakti. Para is the supreme bhakti, where you see everything, hear everything about God. You think about God, you talk about God. There is nothing in your life but God, 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 God. So, Here, it is skoni for us. For us, look at that. We sometimes talk about God. Sometimes talk about mundane things. This, that, bag. Whole day. If we want to understand how we talk, you record them and see what we talk. Very rarely we talk about God. Whole day 24 hours, we sleep 12 hours. Or not 12, say 8 to 10 hours. Then we go to shower, this, that. Say half the day is gone, mostly 12 hours is gone. And little work, and rest of the time we talk. We talk of only mundane things. But that's why we are in the level of the secondary bhakti. We are not the primary bhaktas. Primary bhaktas will be that who are intoxicated. Hearing, seeing, listening, talking, thinking, everything, they are saturated with this spirit of God. But when we are in secondary bhakti,
When for secondary bhakta, when we are thinking about that, so suppose in a garden, this tree will be better, that tree is not doing that much good. So it will be mundane. But when I am primary bhakta and saying the same thing, this tree is not good, that tree, but then I am thinking like that, it is God.
yeah, we are thinking of the tree, they will not see the tree, they will see the God's presence in the tree. He will see the tree as not tree, but the veritable God in the form of the tree. And their experience is different. Their experience will be all different. We also, they will also eat, they will also move. But their thinking, their intoxication, that means as people do things, Thakur has given the idea, when you are working but your mind is somewhere and you are working in one way. You see, he will also pluck the flowers. But his mind will be saturated, I am plucking, for Thakur, it is Thakur's garden, Thakur is there, Thakur. It is Ramakrishna. Only difference is this. That will be spontaneous. Those who are para-bhakti, they need not to practice. But we, Gauni bhaktis, secondary bhakti, which we are, we should have to practice this. What is that? Gauni bhakti, this Gauni bhakti, secondary bhakti, is guna vedat, considering the gunas means qualities, sattva, rajas and tamas. These are the three qualities. According to three qualities, the bhakti will be also different. And guna vedat, arthadi vedatcha. What are the artha? Artha, jiggasu, artharthi, gyani cha, bharatarsava. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, the urge for God are different. People come to God for different reasons. Someone falling in the troubles of life, in deep trouble. They say, oh Lord, please help me, I am in this difficulty. Yeah? This has fallen upon me, I cannot, there is nobody to help, kindly. So, artha. Artha means under condition when helpless. Helplessly we go to God. Many people, mostly people go to God when they are in deep difficulty. Artha. Jiggasu. Some people are good. They question, why am I here? Why is this? Who runs this? Who God? It must be something. So they are questioning. They question about life, question about the ultimate reality, jiggasu. Artha, jiggasu, artharthi. Some people, mostly, in difficult time of financial crisis, and no one to friend, even, that's why they go to God. In Hindu culture, that is the thing, they go and pray to Mother. Mother, I have this problem, please help me. Oh Ma Kali, please give me, I will give you this worship. I will bring some sweets and candies for you for 10 rupees. So you please give me a job of $1,000, $10,000. No? That means asking money. Artha, jiggasu, arthati. Artha means this money. Very bare things of life. So Give me, oh mother, you give me. I have no. So he is bhakta. Bhakta because he is going to God. Other people will not go to God. They will go to other people, friends and this and that, try that way. They don't need to go to God. But a bhakta will come and say, oh Lord, see, this is my situation. I am in this financial crisis. Please make some arrangement for it. No? So that's why it is called bhakta. And the Gyani means he is the knower of truth. Of course he is the ideal person. So these are the four. There also, according to that, the bhaktas are four types. So artha, jiggasu, artharthi, etc. These are the three. These gunas, according to the gunas, and according to sattva, rajas, tamas, the gunas, and according to artha adi vedat, artha, jiggasu, artharthi, there are three types of devotees are there. They are not putting Gyani as a student. Gyani means, in this context, Gyani is he has solved his problem. Gyani means he is one equal with bhakta. Para-bhakti, para-gyana, all the same. So according to your sattvika quality, rajasa quality, tamasa quality, your bhakti is different, we are all different. And according to our going to God, for what reason? For health reason, disaster reason, artha, falling in such difficulty, crisis is going on in life. So you go to God, that is artha. And jiggashu will be who has grown. They know that God is the cause. So they question. Even I am happy or unhappy, what next? What is my ultimate gain from this? And how can I reach that? So that questioning has come. And the third one is called the jiggasu artharthi, asking for money and others. Now, so these are the qualities that has been explained here when and page 128, verse number 56, translation goes, preparatory devotion. This is the Gauni Bhakti. This is called preparatory. And what we learned before? Matured Bhakti. Matured Bhakti will see God everywhere, hear of Him, think of Him, talk about Him. No? But Gauni Bhakti, we are preparing to reach that goal. So preparatory devotion is of three kinds. According to the predominance in the minds of the aspirant of one or another of the three gunas. What? Sattva, rajas and tamas. So this is very beautiful that we are in the preparatory level, but in the preparatory level three kinds are there. And how? Because of their predominance in their minds. How their mind is predominantly becoming pure, sattvika, or rajasika, or tamasika. Tamasika is darker, rajasika will be little higher than tamas, and sattva will be higher than that. And when you mature in sattva, para-bhakti will come. So, and also according to the reasons for which they devote themselves to God. Why we go to God? What reason? I don't think of God any time because I have fallen in difficulty. And you see, we normally do that. When we are difficult, you will find many people come to temple that time much more regularly for praying and this and that because it's difficulty which cannot. But he's a bhakta, that's why he's coming to temple. He could go to different places. They can steal, they can make a plan for killing somebody or pickpocketing something. They could plan differently. But they don't do that. They come here, that's why they are bhakta. And that, the reason for which they come to God. That is also three types. Devote themselves to God, whether because they are world weary, In the world they are just burning in difficulties. There is many people, everyone in life. When a good relationship, we don't go to God. Fun is going on, joy is going on. Bad relationship, we cry and weep and then try to solve and then cannot, then go to God. Oh Lord, what is this? Please. So you are in relationship, but relationship is also, you are in monetary need, you go to God. You need in some other disease, death, all these things, bereavement, then you go to God. So that's why whether because they are world-weary, one category, or seeking for knowledge, or desirous of fulfillment of some material needs and desires. So these are the three categories. Yes?
Well, Narada was thinking that in that way, getting into difficulty is a very good thing because you think of God.
That's the thing.
Getting difficult is a good thing because that makes you think of God.
Yeah, but that only devotees can think that way. Many people say, oh, because I was in difficulty, that difficulty, I came in my life to such person and he guided me to God. So this is an opportunity. Bhakta devotees will look upon it as an opportunity. Difficulties are an opportunity so that it takes me to God. When I am not in difficulty, I am very happy with everything. There is no need of God. And people don't think of God. But those who think they are bhaktas, forget about that. But 99% of the people will forget God because they are happy, hey, and very merry-making thing is going on, everyone is praising you, you have good health, youth, you have money, you have car, you have somebody to look after, 10 people are saying, ha 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 ha, you are so great, ha ha ha. So we are okay with that. But that is not the devotees want, because that they make them forget. That's why Kunti's prayer is very relevant here. Kunti, Mother Kunti says, you, O Krishna, you want to give me suffering? Give more suffering. I don't care for that. But I care only for that. You should not be off from my mind for even a split second. I want you to be with me. This is a greater devotion. Otherwise, who will welcome suffering in this life unless they have deep devotion for God? In some of the preceding aphorisms, the nature of supreme love has been discussed. Summarily, it can be stated that when a bhakta, through the grace of his guru and our God, attains to supreme love and is illumined by the knowledge of God, he transcends the three gunas. The trigunatito, they become gunatito. In the chapter 2 also, gunatito. Guna netano titta trin, dehi deho samudbhavan. Dehi deho samudbhavan. That dehi who is embodied in this utityo, crossing the three gunas, they enter into ultimate reality. So, the grace of his Guru and God attains to the supreme love and is illumined by the knowledge of God, then he transcends the three gunas. He is free from selfish desire. There will be no desire for him, because what can fulfill him? God. You get God, then you get everything. So you need not have to crave for anything mundane. He is free from selfish desire. He sees his beloved everywhere, just I discussed. And he has an unbroken inner experience of bliss of God. That is the Gyani, that is the Bhakti, Para-Bhakti, who have transcended the three gunas. This is the state to be experienced through the practice of spiritual discipline. How will you reach there? This is a goal. But how will you reach there? By discipline, spiritual practice. Of course, there are some exceptional souls who are born with the supreme love. They are forever pure and free, like Ramakrishna's disciples. He used to call Ishvara Kotis. They are a class by themselves. They are pure by themselves. They are born only to fulfill the mission of the Lord in that incarnation. So the avatars are born with such knowledge and devotion, as are those who are known as also Ishvara Kotis. These are found among the disciples of avatar. Every avatar, in Rama avatar, Krishna avatar, there are some who are Gyanis by their birth, but they come to do good to others. But ordinary people, that's the question. Where do we stand? Ordinary people have to struggle hard to attain that devotion and knowledge. We will have to make that's called sadhana. Spiritual life, again and again, practice. That's called the sadhana. And what will be the sadhana? Sadhana to bring God into our awareness and forget other mundane things. But we do just opposite. Not necessary, but we bring issues of others and fill our mind with all this type of garbage and forgetting God. And we realize that. Our days pass, and after 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 1 year passed. Hey, what is my spiritual progress? Why spiritual? That's your spiritual progress. You enjoy the release, all the garbage of others. So you get that result. Nothing happens in spiritual growth. But you want, think of God. Try to see Him. Try to see His glory. Try to think of Him. Try to hear about Him. Try to talk about Him. That 4 formula given in the last verse. Bhakti or devotion may also be stated mean the preparatory devotion. Already stated, bhakti or devotion may, as already stated, mean the preparatory preparations, devotion, and also the attainment. 2 things have been said. One is to reach the goal, para-bhakti. Another is the how to reach that bhakti. One is the end, another is the means. So here, in this particular aphorism, it is explained again that there are different classes of people who practice devotion according to their different natures and tendencies. We all come to the meditation, but everyone's meditation is different. Though we all come to listen to the spiritual talks, but we absorb differently. As in any, say, class in physics or in class in chemistry or in history, students are 30 students in a class maybe. Teacher is teaching one thing. Teacher knows what he is teaching, but each student is perceiving the same truth in their own way, according to their capacity, according to their tendency. So, I have already discussed in aphorism 1 how there are different classes of people who devote themselves to God. What are those? Those devote to God? The world weary, artha, who is troubled in the world. The seekers for knowledge, who seek only for God, or those who have unfulfilled desires and seek for God's help. So, these are the 3 categories. He has not mentioned the 4th category, I said. Lastly, in that connection, I mentioned the wise who are discriminative. And there is the 4th category, though wise people, the wise category. These are described by Sri Krishna. They know the vanity of everything. And they love God for love's sake. But the other 3 categories, they have not reached that flight. They are the highest class, these people, 4th grade. Those who are beyond 3 gunas, who are beyond the 3 categories. That means world weary, who are seekers of knowledge, and are those who are running to God for unfulfilling their unfulfilled desires. Artha, Jiggasu, Artharthi. That's a Sanskrit term. They are the highest class. This fourth one, Sri Krishna says them. They are my self. That's why Gita says, Gyani tu Atmaiva Matam. Gyani, the fourth category, Artha Jiggasu Artharthi, Gyani. In the Bhagavad Gita, Gyani, they are of the fourth category. And they are my very own, very self. Such devotees are nearest to the attaining the supreme love and enlightenment. Now here in this aphorism, here, the division is also made according to the predominance of one or another of the gunas. All of us, some are predominantly sattvika, some are rajasika, some are tamasika. No one is purely sattvika. Where is sattvika means other two qualities will be there, but he may be, say, 100%, a person is made of 100% gunas, so it may be 50%, 60% sattvika quality. Someone, they are fortunate. But other, he may have rajas also. Rajas may be another 30%, and 20% may be tamas. Some may be 10% tamas, rajas more, sattvika. So permutation and combination, this whole world continues. Our devotion also. And those who are pure sattvic, they sit for prayer, their tears will be rolling, no? The cheeks. They sing the name of God, their emotion, heart swells in love for God. And tamasa bhakti, they will try, but they will, that is, bhakti, the devotion, that upsurge of joy is less in other, according to quality, according to their own capability. So, the division is also made according to the predominance of one another, of the gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. The sattvika devotee devotes himself to God. His one ideal is to be free from the bondage of worldliness and to reach union with God. His heart's one prayer is to have pure love for God and pure knowledge of Him. So, the devotee of sattvika characteristic, their sign will be that his one ideal will be sattvika bhakta, wants to be freed. They don't want to get into rajas, which binds, tamas, which drowns. Sattvika will be to release. His heart's one prayer is to have pure love for God and pure knowledge of Him. That's why Ramakrishna's prayer, "Oh Mother, make me pure, make me pure, tarpore ki? So that I don't get drowned into bewitching Maya." The Rajasika devotee devotes himself to God for the sake of such material ends as success, health, prosperity. Rajasika devotee, they will be going to God for more property, money, prosperity, beauty, this material thing. Because that will not stay. Even if you get whatever you get, it will not stay with you. It is not connected with us. When we die, it will have to leave. Even if it is there in the paper. You have huge bank account, that is in the bank.
But if you ask for money to help others?
And that help others. Why will you help others? Because you have to think God's people. So you bring God, then you are sattvika. That's a sattvika tendency. It's all the Swamiji did that work, what he started. It is sattvika work. Say that you do good to the world. But good to the world means do you do good to God? No, you are serving God, serving God, serving God. So, yes, the attitude, that's the mind, tendency. That's why it is saying according to tendency. Sattvika tendency will be not selfishness. That will normally make that person think of others. Sattvika people, Rajasika people, different. Rajasika people will be doing same thing, but for him, or his own purpose, or will think of the benefits should come to him, calculative and all this. Sattvika people will be straightforward in the love of God. They don't bother much whether material gain or material loss. So Rajasic devotee devotes himself to God for the sake of such material ends as success, health, prosperity. And the Tamasic devotee, like the Rajasic devotee, has not yet reached the stage of discrimination. Tamasic, because dark, more dark. So he has not reached the state of discrimination between the eternal and non-eternal. Tamasic devotee is religious in ordinary sense of the word. That is to say, he is a Sunday religion. That means in the churches people come on Sunday. Suppose in normal church-going people, the whole week they lead differently. Sunday, at a particular moment, they go to church. It's a good idea, but that's not enough. That's a beginning. It can be good, but there is not that much yearning. He attends church regularly. He puts money in the collection basket, prays a little, and sing the glory of God in the choir. In the choir group, they go singing in the choir group in the churches. The goal of life is not yet clearly defined or understood by him. Why he comes, why he puts some coin, why he goes to the church at 11 o'clock on Sunday, huh? Why that trouble dressing up? I'm a churchgoer now, I'm a religious person now, no? So that, they are not ideally not finalized. It is I am doing for that eternal peace, that para bhakti, to plunge into the love of God. It does not matter how one begins to devote. Now is the question. Some may be tamas, some may be rajas, some may be sattva. It's very difficult to have sattva, no? But still, everyone will have to start where we are. That's the point. It does not matter how one begins to devote oneself to God. Even a little prayer, a little thought of God leads to us gradually to the supreme attainment. Every day, inch by inch, you move towards that. Your tamasa nature transform to rajas, rajas to sattva, and go beyond sattva. Or your tendency, what is called artha, world-weary person coming to God, falls in love with God gradually. Then he will be thinking of money also, come to God. And then artha jiggasu. And jiggasu state will come gradually and lead to the state of. Though it is chronologically little different, but anyhow, that explanation, we have to understand that artha, artharthi, and jiggasu should be higher. Anyhow.
But jiggasu might not be only spiritual question.
No, if not spiritual, we are not talking him jiggasu. There may be any other things. The whole world is jiggasu. Physics student, chemistry student, all the different sciences, everywhere there is question. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about the lovers of God. It does not matter how one begins to devote oneself to God. Even a little prayer, a little thought of God leads to us gradually to the supreme attainment. This is very important for everyone to remember, that I am not yet in this sattvika state. So what is my life? I am not developed that much bhakti. What can I do? No, don't be disheartened. Start from there and go on practicing and praying, and it will lead us to the goal. Sri Ramakrishna used to classify devotees into 3 divisions. Devotees of the highest class see the beloved everywhere. That's the one category. The manifold universe is but many forms of God to them, or God appearing in so many masks. So many masks. Ramakrishna said, do you see so many people? They are wearing one God, wearing so many masks. They say they see God in Brahma, the creator of the universe, as well as in a blade of grass. This type of devotee, the highest devotee, they see God even in the highest manifestation of Brahma, the creator, and a blade of grass which is meaningless, worthless. Devotees of the middle class, they will see God within the sign of their own hearts and know Him to be the inner ruler, the witness. Devotees of the lowest class look towards the sky and say, God is up there. So he is talking about three levels: duality, qualified non-dualism, and absolute non-dual philosophy. Seeing God everywhere, the highest. Next one is that he will be seeing inside the heart, as also to know Him by that everything is, God is seen inside. So it is only inside as witness. And third one is to seeing God is far away from me in the sky, in the heaven. So these are the ideas explained here. This book also, a few minutes are there. You can prepare your questions. We will end around another 5-10 minutes, and then we can talk, we will answer the questions. Now prepare, not now, but you can prepare your question if you have any. Now, this book here, verse number sutra, this sloka 56, it is inherent nature of the soul to love God. But the vision of the soul is clouded by the ego, manifesting in multifarious ways. As an aspirant makes progress in spiritual practice, the barriers set by the ego are broken down gradually, and the intrinsic attraction of the soul for God becomes more and more pronounced. Attraction, one feels the attraction more and more. As the aspirant's love for God percolates the mind, which is full of complexes, it appears to be colored by the qualities of the mind. Thus, during the stage of practice, it takes various aspects. These aspects of bhakta are called the gauna bhakti, secondary bhakti, for they are associated with gunas or qualities of the mind. Depending on your mind, it will be sattvika, your bhakti, or rajasika, or tamasika. The gauna bhakti, which culminates in the mukha bhakti. Mukha bhakti means primary bhakti, or the supreme bhakti, which is one continuous unobstructed stream of love for God, is classified in two ways in this sutra. The first classification is based upon the traditional divisions of the mental qualities and dispositions like tamas, rajas, and sattva. When the religious emotions filters down through a mind that is tamasic in nature, the devotion also is of tamasic by character. So also bhakti becomes sattvika or rajasika in the same manner. Understand? It says when the religious emotions, what you are carrying, it filters through your mind, and your mind is sattvika, it will manifest, your emotions will be sattvika, your love for God will be sattvika love. And if it is rajasika, it will be rajas, it will tamas, it will be tamas. As the differentiation is based on the qualities of the mind found in association with religious devotion, which in itself is pure and simple, these three expressions of bhakti are called gauna bhakti, as distinguished from the mukhya bhakti or prime bhakti. The second class classification is based on the difference in the motives that impel the bhakta. Of the 4 varieties of devotees mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, the first 3 are varieties of Gauna Bhakti, and the 4th denotes to Mukha Bhakti, secondary Bhakti, primary Bhakti, in which the devotees love God and God alone, and that for the sake of love, as it clear in the Bhagavat. The Gauna Bhakti or the secondary Bhakti are here classified into 3 groups according to their attitude and outlook, and what fulfillment they seek through devotion to the Lord. The evils which these seekers want to conquer by restoring to God are 3 types. Why? Namely, people go there for namely sin, to avoid sin. Oh Lord, I did this sinful act. Please forgive me. I am giving you worship. I am praying to you. No? So sin, for pain, bodily pains and aches and this, or error resulting from the improper functioning of volition, emotion and cognition. When an aspirant is moved by the sense of sin, he is an artharthi. He is asking for. When moved by the sense of misery, he is called artha. When impelled by the sense of error, he is gyani, according to the predominance of volition, emotion and cognition. In the tamasica stage of mental development, the devotees do not often know clearly either the means or the goal. He is too lazy and indolent and prone to rely too much upon mere habits and external help given by men, mere custom and tradition. Unmeaning slavery to rituals. People do rituals in every religion, and they are very ritualistic. They will take shower, they will wash their hand 20 times, pluck the flowers, and then again do this, again do that. Not knowing the meaning. This type of people depends on priestcraft, fanaticism, faith in the magical power of incantations, mystical formulas, fear of evil powers, which are sought to be propitiated by burnt offering, animal sacrifice, restoring to occult methods in injuring others. These are some signs of the tamasika devotees. It is given a very good example what tamasika devotion can express one. Rajasika devotion, that will be associated with extremely selfish desire. They do go to God even for selfish purpose. And worldly ambitions, selfish purpose, and the consequent incessant activity to gain fame and power for oneself. My name, my fame. I want to be predominant. I can pose myself this way. I can put myself in front of people like this. These types of devotees seek God only as a means to gain other selfish ends. These Puranas are replete with examples illustrating this kind of devotion. The staggering austerities of the demons and titans, Tarka, Hiranyakasipu, these are all different, Ravana, and the rest are vividly described in the Puranas. They are Rajasika. Rajasika Bhakti is found also sometimes in organized churches, Rajasika Bhakti. That aim practically at the conservation of power, prestige, prosperity for their own sect rather than realization of God. No? You go to the churches, they bring so much money, and this is $100, that is $1,000, that is $5,000. And then as much as you can give, you are a good bhakta. And if you cannot give, then you are not a bhakta. It is not looking at the goal, God realization goal, but the prosperity of the church. My church will be best church. It earns good money. Their pews will be very fine pews, fine arrangement, fine chandelier. Everything is gorgeous. Gold leaf will be given everywhere. Because it is going out for the Lord. But Lord is not in the mind. all these useless faltu, useless things are there. In the Sattvika type of devotion, God is loved for His own sake. The goal and means are perceived by Sattva Bhakta clearly and intelligently. An enthusiastic effort is made by him to realize the goal in the face of all obstacles. We may explain the three kinds of devotion expressed as Artha, Jiggasu and Artharthin in a different significant way. The underlying motive of Artha Bhakta, there is a worldly tormented person, is to get rid of the misery of birth and death and to enjoy infinite bliss. In the devotion Jiggasu, underlying motive is to have the highest knowledge of the reality behind the phenomenal appearance, by knowing which everything else is known. The Bhakta who is in Artharthi, who wish to achieve the divine kingdom on the earth, divine kingdom in the earth. God helps me, I am a good devotee, I have good money, I have good prestige. So, this type of tamasa. These three types represent the longing to realize the three aspects of divine reality, namely bliss, consciousness and being. In fact, the apparently threefold quest leads to the same goal. We may cite as an example for the first, Buddha, who was moved by the miseries of the world. The Upanishad sages are examples of the second type, but they always endeavored to realize the highest kind of truth. Jewish prophets, as well as Christ and Muhammad, are the representative of the third group, for they were moved by the sense of sin and were seekers after righteousness of God. Okay? So that much is the explanation of the verse number 56 from the book of Bhakti Sutra, translated and commented by Swami Tyagishananda. We have read that. We got a different perspective of this. So we'll have next day, we'll read the 57th verse of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. And now we have little time, 5 minutes or little more. So we end this class here, and then you can wait for your questions if you have. Otherwise, we'll be doing something else. Okay. Let me have no question, so I can then 5 minutes I can utilize the third book. This book is best written very well. He has quoted from the Sri Ramakrishna's words. Of course, it is in Bengali. So we just, I'm just making a quick running translation of it. It says, so far we have discussed about the supreme love for God, but there are very few people who in their life it can be manifested. It is like the Prahlada, he was beyond the three gunas, who loved God only love's sake. This type of people are very rare. Most of the devotees belong to Gauni or secondary or Vaidhi Bhakti or ritualistic Bhakta. And Sattvika, Rajasic, Tamasic, this division has been mentioned by Bhagavan Kapila in the Bhagavat. So he has given the quality. What are the three types of bhakta according to Bhagavat? Therefore, it is seen that tamasic, rajasic and sattvic, these three types of devotees have, why they are different. Only these three types of devotees are in the knowledge which is divided. They have higher, lower idea. Only those who are gunatita, who are beyond the gunas, they have understood the identity with the divine. In the great Purana of Narada Purana, Sattvic Bhakti has been divided into three ways. What is that? That person who wants to destroy the peace of others and also does chant the name of God. They are chanting, "Oh God, I am praying to you. That guy, he is my enemy. Let him be killed." That's also devotion. It's tamasi devotion. This is the adham. This is the lowest and the most worst. But there are people, they go to God, they do tantrics, in tantra. Tantra, there are the different process. They can maron, uchatan, these are the different terms they do. That's a bhakti. They are not going to any rich person, not to taking a sword and gun and killing. But they go to God and pray and do some rituals. So, and those who do devotion, show devotion with all crookedness, they are of the second type. And tamas will be those who are the lowest one. And they can get to different prayer, the third prayer, that I will go to live with God in the same plane of God, satna, salukya, samipya, etc. And who is this highest bhakta? That is in the Bhagavad says that sarvattam guna ahameva paro Vishnu. I am that supreme Vishnu. Samasta jagat Vishnu mai sarvamidam jagat. In me the whole universe is there. In this way, ja satatang passit, all the time one can see this, tang viddat uttama uttamam. Know him to be the highest of the bhaktas. So, this is the way this book has described, and he has quoted Ramakrishna. There are three types of devotion. Thakur Ramakrishna says, Uttam, the supreme, middle, and the lowest. Uttam Bhakta, the superior Bhakta, he says, whatever I am seeing, everything is his form, God's form only. He has become everything. Middle class will say, God is in my heart as an indweller, witness. And the lowest Bhakta will say, God is there in the high heaven. Like that. Okay? So we end here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Oh, by this time one question has come, it seems. Two. Two questions. Okay. Good. If one has been practicing Gyano Yoga for months, what would be a practical transition into practicing Bhakti Yoga? Gyano Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, we are only making a distinction. Gyano Yoga is what? Gyano says everything is unreal, God is real, Brahman is real. Everything is momentary. This is to be rejected, only to go to God and the divine only. So yes, Bhakti also says what? God is the only reality. And this world belongs to Him. But I want Him only. So Bhakta also, real Bhakta, will try to absorb in God and God only. So that is the renunciation. Language is different, but the end result is the same. Gyani will say, I am not the body, not the mind, I reject this, this is not me, that is not me. So what is me? I am yours, O Lord, I am yours. You are my only resort. And as we just heard, he will see, my Lord is in everywhere. I see with my open eyes different masks. My Lord is wearing with different mask, and I see him there. So he will think of God. He will think of God. So it is almost the same. So Gyano Yoga practice is also not different from, only methodology is different. One takes one way of negation, negation, negation. Another, Bhakti Yoga says, it is God has become everything. It is God's will. Everything is being conducted by God's will. I am also directed by God. God is my life breath. God is in my vision. God is my very sustenance. So that practical, there is no transition. I would say we can as a method, we can every day practice Gyano Yoga and also Bhakti Yoga. Make a time, as Swami said, Swami Vivekananda, you practice some period of time. I am not the body, not the mind, not this. Your mind suits some time that does not please me. My emotions, my present condition of my mind says, I pray to God. Oh Lord, I am not able to continue with this, my health condition. My mental condition is so depressing. Please help me. So if we go and pray like that, that's a Bhakti Yoga. At the end, all experience will be same. But path is different. Gyano Yogi can say, what is my body? I am not the body. Who cares for my body's pain? I am not the body. They in one stroke they try to cut out. Bhakta says, no, I am in the body. God is in me. Oh God, help me. This is too much for me. I cannot bear it. Please do that. And pray. Mind becomes pure and pure and pure. So tamas will go away. Rajas will come. Rajas will go away. Sattva will come. And ultimately, the truth will reveal. And as soon as this happens, it will have this effect also in Gyano Yoga practice also. So we have to practice all the four. Gyano, Bhakti, Karma, Yoga. And everything should be dedicated to God. So there is no transition from one path to the other path. Rather, I will say, our goal should be fixed to reach that state of absolute peace and joy, absolute blessedness. That is the goal. Sometimes I am following the path of Gyana, sometimes the path of Bhakti, sometimes meditation, sometimes karma. And that's the uniqueness of this Vedantic tradition taught by Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Ramakrishna Vivekananda never said, be one-sided. Maybe some people may be very much inclined to do one, that's okay, good for that. But for us generally, it is much more beneficial if we can take four methodologies, sometimes bhakti, sometimes karma. But we know we are going to reach the same goal. These are not two goals we are reaching. Not that by Gyana I will go here and by Bhakti I will go here. No. All will end in one place. Yes. Huh?
Well, I was saying they all go hand in hand.
Yeah, goes hand in hand.
If you get bhakti, real bhakti,
Yeah.
automatically your intuitive faculty opens.
Right, exactly so. If they go,
Love and you do karma, so they all go together.
go hand in hand. Achha, another question is there. Could you please explain how one practices bhakti in the context of Advaita? I am so sorry. I feel confused by the language God and loving God. Yeah. Here God in Vedanta, God is the impersonal God. And in Bhakti when we talk, that same God is considered that he has taken some qualities. With that quality he has become all compassionate, all loving, all affectionate reality. This absolute is Brahman in the Vedantic term. But God, if we say from Vedantic perspective, that God is beginningless, endless, timeless, spaceless, causeless. It is, but what is that? It is void? Well, no, it is Satchidananda. And when we talk about from Bhakti standpoint, we mean that ultimate reality. But for us, that ultimate truth has taken a shape, taken a form of my beloved Lord Krishna, my beloved Lord Rama, my beloved Lord, what is called the, whatever your chosen ideal. But he is not finished with the form, but he is the abode of all infinite bliss. So here God term we use sometimes because we are familiar with the language, God. But this is not small God. God, small God, is different from God, big God. That's why we are in some technical books, they use this very much careful about using small g or big G. Small gods are different powers of the infinite God, like big officers in the office, but they are all government officers. Power of the governor, or power of God manifests through different officers, no? And God, the source of all power. So here, if we push the word God as G capital, then we'll have to think God, the Satchidananda God, which is Vedantic principle God, he is called nameless, formless, beyond all duality. That we cannot conceive. In Bhakti, we think him to be taking a name and form, or sometimes not name and form. Like Christian thought of God. What is God? God has no form, no beginning, no end. But it is all compassion. You are praying, oh Lord, give me love, give me this. Whom you are praying? Infinite God, who is all love, personification of all love. So that is called the concept of God. God is here, not a man, not look like a man, like Ramakrishna, Christ, Buddha. This is the avatar. Those, it is the avatar, is God himself, they say. That's a different thing. But when you say God, we mean where the infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite strength, infinite compassion is compact, and your mind imagines like that. So Christian way of thinking God is that it has no beginning, it is on nirakara, akar, there is no form, but guna, saguna, it has the guna, quality of love, compassion, holiness, purity, and all these divine characteristics. Say nirguna, but nirakara, but saguna. And Vedanta is nirakara and nirguna. If you understand these two technical terms, then it will be easy. Brahman, Vedantic Brahman, is nirakara. It has no akar, no form. And no guna. You cannot say it is this, it is that. But when you experience, you become fully charged with bliss. That's a different thing. And you become dead to the world. Ramakrishna going into samadhi, that is the state. That's full of joy, full of bliss. But he is not in the body, not in the mind, not in anywhere. And now, when you come one step down, then he becomes God. One step down towards us. It has no akara, no form, no limitation. East, west, north, south. You go everywhere, unending. You cannot fathom it. But that has quality of not bad qualities, good qualities, noble qualities, joy, bliss, blessings, protection, power, redemption, all this power. And when he comes one step down, we call avatar, another step. Avatar step, a Christ, Buddhas, though they look like human, but all the power of God, the creative force, the protecting power, and everything is manifested through a human personality. That's called, it is saguna and akara also. Saguna with gunas, nirakara, no nirakara, it is sakara, with akara, with form. So this is the simple way of understanding these two. Okay? Thank you all. So we'll see you next in our class in the evening. Shanti Gita, the song of peace that we are studying, we'll meet you. And you can find the text in your computer. Vedanta.org. Vedanta.org/Santi-Gita, as also where?
In the description of the video.
In the description of the video you will find. And the verse number is also written where you will start today. Thank you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.